right, everyone. If you write comments or whatever in that little thing, I cannot manage this full screen bloody presentation plus my notes plus comments. So you got to yell your comments out. All right. I'm Tracy, and the story you're about to hear occurred when I was working at Insured by Us. So I should say that the whole thing was sponsored by them, and I no longer work for them. I work for another very nice company called Blake. But yeah, I probably should have, put this on a IBU presentation or something. Okay. Here, I want to say the phrase level up is being used sarcastically by me because I really dislike this phrase and I find it very patronizing. Nobody ever say it at me. Do not say you're going to level me up. I don't like it. Okay. So it is about training though and about leveling people up. So answer me this, people. Is there an area that your team really needs to grow in, but you never have time to focus on it because of all your day-to-day work? Are you sick of spending time and money on training sessions and conferences that just don't work? Do you like having fun? Well, you're here for this talk, so I don't care what your answers were to that, and I can't hear you. But I'm going to talk to you about running your own team conference. So last year in November, our whole team was attending a conference that I will not name because I don't want to malign it. It was very good. And we were having fun. But while I was there, I was kind of thinking that I wish that we could spend, it was a 2-day conference and our whole team took the 2 days off work to go to this conference. And I was thinking, I wish we could spend 2 days together like this, but on stuff that was really relevant for us. We had a new DevOps set up last year, and I wish we could spend 2 whole days of not doing any work, just being all together and learning the DevOps. We were spending so much money to be at this conference. People were flying from interstate. And I was just thinking, the conference is very good for fun and networking, and you are learning some stuff, but you're learning a lot of stuff, but it could just be a little bit more relevant. And then I was like, why don't we just do it ourselves? Why don't we use our training budget, our training days, and create our own content that's super useful for us? And that's how we came up with our offsite. Offsite is the combination of the phrase offsite with the word ops, because ours was about DevOps. Now, it's super important to have a focus for your training. We did it on DevOps, but you could do it on anything. If your whole app, like somebody I know, has 0 tests in it, you could do a whole offsite of setting up all kinds of testing. You might want to do monitoring, load testing, and performance, because these are kind of things that you don't always have time for every day, like in the normal day-to-day of your job. Security, that also gets pushed aside and is very important. Less fun. Maybe you want to change the way you work to have different processes in place. Maybe you want to skill up your team on front end. Whatever, really. New language, new architecture, whatever. But the point of the thing is you need a focus. The other things you need is some budget, unless you want to, I don't know, you don't need a budget if you're going to do it at your normal work, I guess. But we used our budget, or some of our budget, to hire an Airbnb. Look at this beautiful Airbnb. We didn't know it at the time, but it's very important to have real light, daylight. This room was excellent for sitting down in. Behind this couch is like a table where we all sat, a big dinner table. But yeah, so we spent our training budget on an Airbnb and used to have really good internet, have a good space for collaboration. I demanded enough bedrooms. So none of us would have to share. I also demanded a pool. As you can see by that weather, that was unnecessary and it really restricted the places the house could be. But anyway, you also really need to have some expertise to create the content. So that is the most important thing. If you don't have anyone on your team that is willing to put in some work to create content and put time into making this offsite, then you're not going to be able to do it. So yeah. Soft requirements. Now these are also extremely important, even though they're called soft and not hard. we were a remote first team and we loved getting together, and we didn't get to do it that often. So so one of the big highlights of this was that we got to be together. Not all teams would like this. Maybe you don't want to hang out with your team for 2 days or whatever. We were very lucky in that most of us did not have responsibilities that would stop us from going away for a few days. That is a luxury that not everyone can afford. Soft requirement I just thought of, no corona. And the last one, which is super important, is that we had an extremely psychologically safe work environment, in that we were such a team that I guess we'd been working together for a long time. I don't know if that's why, but we're always very comfortable in asking stupid questions, being vulnerable, and stuff like that. So that's super important as well. These are soft requirements, but actually it's soft skills. They're super important. You probably won't be able to run a successful one of these unless you had this. Okay. Here we are in the Airbnb. A hard requirement is not these butcher's paper. We were like, you can't have an offsite without butcher's paper. Then we really had to make excuses to use it. You can have an offsite without butcher's paper. Let that be a lesson to all of you. Okay. Here's the agenda. Now, you can't just be going and spending your money and taking all your time away from your proper work to do just vague, willy-nilly nothing. We had a very good agenda. Day 1, arrive at the Airbnb. Use the pool if it's not raining, but it was raining, so we did not. This says overview of our ops by the expert, which might misleadingly make you think that this over here is our expert. Sorry, Frank, that's not our expert. So we started the thing with Cam, I don't know where he is in this, giving us a very good overview of all our DevOps setup. He did a big picture of how they all interacted, and we took a good long time going through that and asking a lot of questions about every little bit of it. So I think an overview is super important to make sure that everyone is on the same page. This next bit is also look, this whole thing is super important, so I'm just gonna pretend these all had super important before them. We each did, apart from Cam, who was the expert, the rest of us did 2 5-minute prezos each on relevant topics. So for example, we did Kiali, Istio, logs, things like this. And what we did was we didn't want to have to give each other a whole lot of homework before we went there. We didn't want people to have to do a very thorough presentation. We just wanted to be able to have a starting point for discussions about all these different things, so we could all find out how much each of us knew and try and get us all on the same level. So we just did very low pressure 5-minute prezos on various topics. Before the conference, we made a list of all the things that we were like, I feel like I've heard Cam say the word Kiali and I don't know what it is, so we'll put that on the list. And then we all took topics and did 2 prezos each. Except for Frank, who took 1, and then I had to make him do another one. Okay, but this is not about bagging out Frank, just because he's not here. And then in the evening, we had our welcome dinner. So the problem with demanding a pool is that the location of the house might not be great. However, it was very close to IKEA, so that's where we had our welcome dinner, where you can eat like royalty for not much money. Here you go. Look at this, look at this. Cam has got chocolate mousse and chicken nuggets. What more could you want? All right. Okay, day 2. Day 1 was all about presentations and getting the knowledge. Day 2 was about actually using our computers and getting our hands dirty. So because it was about DevOps, we said we're going to make a very simple app that is just going to be a web page that you can hit. You can make it in whatever you want. But because the point of it is that we're going to Dockerize it, we're going to set up the CI pipeline, and then we're going to just deploy them to a staging environment. And so this is a whole series of things that were to do with the DevOps ecosystem that Cam had set up. And yeah, the point was not to make a great little app. The point was actually to just get it up into staging and use all the different parts of the infrastructure that Cam had established. Cam came up with these ideas for these activities. So thank you very much, Cam. You're in the audience tonight. Everyone give him a round of applause. Now, yet again, we had another amazing meal option. Today we had a team building exercise, which we like to call Bouge Nudes. As you can see, the noodles on the right-hand side are very bougie indeed. How did we come up with these bougie noodles? Look at this team building exercise. We're all in the kitchen, we're all cooking, we're all making the toppings. Look, there's a free idea for team building for you guys from me. Okay. Next, look, I had notes and I've just skipped past all of them. So who knows, I was like, don't forget to say this and that. I've forgotten all this stuff. Oh well, we'll just keep going. Day 3, oh shit, Day 3, add pressure. So we did the basic setups and now Cam was going to do some drills for us by breaking it in various ways. So this obviously is going to require a bit of work because you have to have someone clever like Cam to come up with these ideas, if you know. One was he took down some EC2 images and that buggered us up in one way, and then he changed config somewhere and that buggered us up in a different way. So he would do this, like he would do one thing secretly and then we would all be looking at all the various logs or whatever other systems we had. Kiali, we learned how to use that and figure out, like try and diagnose the issue. So it wasn't exactly a race, but there was a bit of a race feeling to it. And then there was a bit of a thinking you're good when you're the first person to figure it out. So that was really good. And the extra good, the side effect of this was that we got, well, ignore the weird font here, but we got, we created some incident checklists from these drills. So we're like, if this happens, what is this going to do? Or we actually did and we came up with a system of this, if production is down, what are you going to do? And like, so we really talked those things through for when disaster happens. You can keep a cool head because we got these checklists to go through. So that was a really good artifact from the day. There was also other documentation that we made because because we'd learned all these things and we had a greater understanding, so we documented some of that as well and put it in Confluence, or at least we said we were going to, but then a lot of us lost our jobs, so maybe we didn't, I don't know. Okay. Okay, so here we have us trying to make a portion of our offsite remote friendly. So Dylan dialed in from Scotland one night and we had a chat with him about it. We might move on from this because this is the one area that we needed to improve on. We didn't do the remote very well. We were really benefiting from all being in the same house. And yeah, so this didn't quite work. And we're very lucky that we did this before Corona. And I know it was just before Corona because no naming any names, some people stole some toilet paper from the Airbnb. All right, diversity is very important. I think we all know about the importance of diversity. So here's some food diversity for you. We were eating well, people. Better than conference food. Okay, and at the end, very importantly, these are the things that we would do again. And so you should do if you are going to do an offsite. Number 1, it was really good to have 2 full days. And by that I mean, we arrived on the Monday and we had a full day Tuesday, Wednesday, because people are flying in from interstate and stuff, and then we leave on Thursday. So you need 2 good full days. Our agenda was excellent. You need to have a plan. Do an agenda, a good agenda. Those short, low pressure presos, I think they were excellent. They really started conversations and they really made a really good learning environment. You need someone clever like Cam to do drills. I don't know how you do this for all those other topics, but for example, like security is easy because I know that I've seen on the internet you can be like doing drills on your site and stuff to see if they are not secure. I don't know, whatever. Do some drills, people. Give each of the exercises time and space for learning. Oh yeah, we didn't rush anything. So I don't know what this point is about, but I think it is about that we really took our time and let ourselves learn and ask questions. It wasn't rushed. 2 days, that's what I'm talking about. Those big windows on the Airbnb, very important. Do not lock yourselves in a boardroom, people. We did not work in the evenings, even though we were all together and it could have been tempting to. And we'll do a retro again because the retro is useful. Things we do differently, very short list because we did it so amazingly the first time, I don't even know how. Okay, we did stay inside a lot and we did not get fresh air exercise, which you would normally do when you're at home. You would not normally just stay in the house all the time. So that was a bit of a, next time we would do that better. We did not do video conferencing very well. We would need improvement on that. I know we've all had a lot of learning about how to do remote. And even before this, we're a remote first company, IBU, so we should have been better at it, but we weren't. And I think that's because so much of the value of this came from being in the same room as each other. Like, yeah, I can't stress enough how good it was to be in the Airbnb, like all of us together in the same place for this. I won't demand a pool next time. That's ridiculous. You don't need that. That's it. This is our team. It no longer exists in this fashion, and that's why I've done this in memory of Treasure Team. That's it.